All right, this lunchtime classic starts with an 8-ounce New York strip steak. All right, get one that's nicely marbled. We're really going to take most of this fat off. It's just going to cook more evenly. It's going to be 100% edible. You don't have to be trimming on the plate. So just go with your boning knife, use the tip, and you'll feel there's a really, really tough membrane that runs right across the top of the strip steak, and you just cut that right off, and all that fat's going to go along with it. Now when you get to the end here, be careful. I want you to take that little chunk of fat off the end, but I don't want you to cut that nice piece of meat there. All right, cut it in half. And what we're going to do here is we're just going to give these a little pound, just to flatten them just a little bit. I want these to cook in about a minute per side, and also it's going to tenderize it a little more. I mean, these are tender to begin with, but that's going to help just a little more. So 2 pieces of plastic wrap. All right, and I'm going to take my my meat pounder / flattener. I really like this type, and I'm going to give it 4 or 5 whacks here. So that's about half the thickness I started. All right, and, don't go too thin, otherwise you probably you take a chance of overcooking this. So that's just about perfect. There we go. All right, so I got my New York prepped, and now on to the sauce mixture. So our balsamic garlic glaze, we're going to get the liquid ingredients here all set up. So that's a teaspoon of mustard, a teaspoon of ketchup, and we're going to put in a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, or however you say it. So a teaspoon of that. And then we're going to put 2 nice tablespoons of a really good quality balsamic vinegar. All right, something that's got some nice sweetness to it. Don't use a really cheap balsamic vinegar. You want the real stuff from Italy. You can tell by the label. And then we're going to put in about 1/3 of a cup of water, and you'll see why at the end of this process. That pan's going to be so hot. If we don't have that water, we're in trouble. So there's our sauce mix. I got some 2 cloves of garlic I crushed. I got a little bit of butter, about a teaspoon. There's our classic steakhouse seasoning mix, which is equal parts salt, black pepper, and paprika. And we're going to put a couple slices of bread in the toaster there for the classic finish to this dish. All right, now I decided to show you how to season steak to waste time online here, but notice how carefully I'm seasoning. You really got to season evenly. A lot of people are in such a hurry, they just throw it on there, and half of it's got salt, half of it doesn't. And then I'm not going to put oil in the pan, I'm just going to put oil on the steak. Now, I don't have to tell you, that's an extremely hot, thick, all right, stainless steel saute pan. These are literally going to go a minute on each side, so you got to get your pan really hot. And again, I put the oil on the steak, not in the pan, and it just doesn't smoke up as much. So that's literally 60 seconds. Because it was so hot, I got some beautiful caramelization. I flip it over, time it, 60 seconds again. Again, this is going to be for medium rare. Pull them out. And I got that beautiful, what's called a fond on the bottom of the pan. That's just the caramelized meat juice. All right, now, before we add our liquid, we're going to take our 2 cloves of crushed garlic. The heat is off. I just turned the heat off, and I just want you to swirl and smash and smoosh that garlic around in that hot pan drippings there, just for about 30 seconds. That's just going to take the edge off, so it won't have that really sharp raw garlic flavor. All right, it's going to cook a little bit in the sauce here, but this sauce is only going to be in the pan a couple minutes. So that's good. So that's just, again, it was about 30 seconds. Take your balsamic mixture, pour it in, and again, that heat was off. That's how hot that pan is. It kind of just really explodes that sauce. And take your tongs and make sure all that beautiful caramelized juice is lifted off the bottom. All right, you can put the heat on medium at this point, or low actually, probably a little safer bet. So medium, low, and I just want to simmer that for literally another 60 seconds, 90 seconds, just until it reduces, I don't know, by about half. All right, and then to finish up, very simple, we're going to go with the classic Monte-Burr finish with butter. You've heard me explain that before. All right, teaspoon of butter, whole butter goes in. Throw your pieces of steak in. Any drippings that came out, drizzle those in. And once that butter is mixed in, you don't have to worry about it separating, see, because we have nice reduced vinegar in the sauce. The acid in the vinegar actually suspends that butter. It makes for just a beautiful, shiny, thick glaze. And just toss those steaks in it. And in the meantime, I put a couple pieces of Italian bread in the toaster. That is the classic way to serve this dish. And you probably could have figured out the rest, all right? So take your 2 pieces of steak, top the 2 pieces of bread. Also gives us some nice height, makes for a really nice presentation. Again, we don't need any potato. We got the bread as the carbo, so I just went with a nice little tomato salad. and spoon over that glaze. So delicious, really flavorful. And again, you adjust that any way you want. You don't like mustard, leave it out. Still delicious. You don't like garlic, well, what's wrong with you? But if you don't like garlic, don't put the garlic, or put just one clove. Any way you want to tweak this. Basically the technique is what I was showing. All right, so there you go. Classic open-faced New York strip sandwich, and enjoy.